Hey guys, Dale here, back with some more Rimworld. Consider this episode or part 0 for a new series that we're going to be starting. So I am going to take the time in this video to do an explainer on what mods we'll be playing with, what our ideology is going to look like. I'll do kind of a tour of the initial plans that I have for the base, as well as talk about some of the objectives and play style that we're going to have. So if that's stuff that you're like not interested in, or things that you will just like pick up as I explain it throughout the episodes of actual gameplay, feel free to skip this and just like hop in right into part 1. That being said, here we are with Rimworld. You can see we have the biotech background. I'm going to be playing with all of the DLC. I'm not sure how many features from each of the DLCs we'll actually be interacting with, but there is like content from all of them that I do like to play with pretty regularly. And then if you've been paying attention down here to my left, you can see that there's like some mod updates. Outer Rim Core, Outer Rim Galactic Empire, Rebel Alliance, Furniture and Decor, and Mandalore. That is kind of key feature of what this mod pack's going to be. We're going to be playing as Mandalorians about the same time period as like the Mandalore show is going through. So these 3 Mandalorians, they survived the sacking of their world. They've kind of like set out in the Outer Rim to set up their own covert and see what they can do to kind of like revive Mandalorian culture. They are maybe familiar with some other Mandalorians that are out in the world, but they're not quite sure of like everything that's going on. So they'll be their own kind of like little self-contained story. Talking about the mods though, let's take a look at graphics setter. So you can see here we have Star Wars ships. So this is like an SRTS edition that gives us some Star Wars themed SRTS ships, and then more content from Outer Rim. I also have Save Our Ship 2 installed. Had to go and grab that from GitHub. They do have like an experimental release that's 1.4 ready, that's being iterated on, of course. So it's not in the workshop yet. You'll see a lot of like vanilla expanded series, like hair textures and furniture and some of that stuff. Those are pretty regular things for me to play with. Alpha memes, so for some additional options. But that's pretty much the bulk of like mods that are adding content to the playthrough. And then I have a bunch of other ones that are just like quality of life things, like allow tool and quality matters and quality builder and all that fun stuff. I do have a save ready for us to go and jump into for episode 1, but I'm going to show you guys some of the other things that we are have set up in the background. So we'll do new colony. We did use this retired bounty hunter setup. We changed it to allow us to have 3 though. That way we're like starting off with a good amount of people. It feels like Crash Landed and Retired Bounty Hunter kind of mashed together. So I did increase the weapons that we've gotten, and I think I had to start with some Beskar because I feel like Mandalorians should start with some Beskar to be able to craft more armor. Other than that, pretty straightforward. We are going with Randy. We did custom. We set it to blood and dust, but I did make a couple changes. I want the children to age up faster. I want enemies not to die as frequently, and I want colonist insta-kills to just kind of like not be as prevalent as they are sometimes. So that's kind of like the tuning that we did there, but the like base difficulty is blood and dust. Next, for world generation, Keldon is the seed name. Planet size I set to just like 1 smidge smaller if you have the My Little Planet mod. Pollution 0, and then I upped population to crowded and up these 2 settings, rainfall and temperature, just a tick. I'm playing with the Vikings mod from the Vanilla Expanded series, mostly just for some of the apparel content that I think will look cool on my Mandalorians, like the noble fur coat for the armorer. But we're going to turn those off as actual factions. Additionally, I did turn on more factions, so like regular Outlanders, Pirate Gang, I think the Fierce Tribe and the Savage Tribe. And if we hover over this, I have like that Xenotype selector mod that allows us to like add xenotypes into the base factions or select a xenotype for a faction to be. You can see here there's a lot of like 1.3% and a lot of different Star Wars alien species, pretty much for the most part. For something like the Civil Outlander Union as an example, this is usually like 100% baseliner, and so all I did was I think I like cut that down to like 80% or something, and then it just redistributed the remaining percent to these Star Wars alien races, and I think even like the regular vanilla races like genies and Neanderthals and all that fun stuff, just so that we get a little bit more variety in the types of xenotypes that we see out there, and we can see some of these Star Wars alien races show up in our gameplay. I'll hit generate on the planet. I'll show you the tile that I ended up selecting. So I was looking around for arid shrubland. I knew that I wanted to build a mountain base, and pretty much like this popped out to me. I clicked here first. I have map preview, and this one looked pretty cool, but this is the map that we actually ended up selecting. So if you take a look here in the map preview, you can see that there's like a little hidden area. So this would be like an area revealed if we mined into it. It's sealed off here. It's sealed off here and here, just like just a couple tiles each. So we're gonna mine into it from this location, and then this will be our nice little like starting location. We'll be building a mountain base, and I think we're going to use a lot of this mountain, a lot of the right side of the map. So next, I'll show you the custom ideology that I created. So create custom fixed. We'll load a saved one. Here it is. Oh, I rearranged some of the mods. So we're calling it the Way of the Mandalore. This Way of the Mandalore meme comes from the Outer Rim mods. It's not too impactful. It does require that slavery is acceptable or honorable, which is fairly common in like the Star Wars universe, so that's fine. We just set it to acceptable. And then requires execution is required, respected, or don't care, which doesn't seem very impactful, so not too worried about that one. Bulwark, I'm not sure if this comes from like the vanilla memes expanded or alpha memes, but this will require that we want to have metallic armor. And as a bonus for having metallic armor, we can select a bonus to an armor rating. And so we selected blunt. Kind of like getting really high sharp mitigation is pretty easy with the types of metals and the types of armors that we'll have in this mod pack. So I selected blunt just for the bruisers, our front line that we might have. Scrapper made sense to me to add as a meme. These Mandalorians, they're out trying to like carve a new life out for themselves. They're probably being really frugal. They're probably recycling. They're probably doing all kinds of things. So yeah, this will make it so that they don't care about tainted apparel, tattered apparel. They'll have high deconstruction yield, and then we set it so that they think junk is preferred, not beautiful. I think if it's beautiful, the impact to not having junk around will be higher on their mood. But yeah, just being able to like pick up some of the ancient stuff and use it as decor around the base should hopefully elevate some of their mood. Tunneler made sense to me based on kind of like what we've seen about the coverts that have been set up in The Mandalorian. First season, they're like in the undergrounds of a city, like in the sewer system or whatever utility stuff that's going on down there. And the second season, they're in the like underbelly of a space station, and in the current season, they're actually in a cave. So Tunneler is something that we'll go for. And then Individualist just allowed us to select a ritual reward type that I wanted, and that's to be able to taunt our enemies into a raid after a particular ritual. So we'll take a look at that. But let's take a look at some of the impactful precepts. So Mandalorians, female, male, totally covered in clothing, makes sense. Like they are going to be armored up and helmeted up all the time. Anonymity required. I thought this would be something interesting to play with. I haven't ever had like requirement for like visage masks or anonymity before, but with kind of the more extreme the way beliefs of the Mandalorians, that makes sense. They don't care about insect meat. They don't care about tattered or tainted apparel. I did add in permanent base desired, right? So they're trying to like build a new culture, build a new home. So that'll be pretty important for them. Reputation is lowered, so colony starts receiving a one-time negative opinion penalty with all of their factions. And mining yields high is from Tunneler. As Mandalorians, I figured they would be like warrior culture, so they're used to barracks, so we have that set as preferred. We have scars set to honorable. They don't care about nutrient pace. They're going to be a little strict on physical love, so only sharing a bed if they're married. And we'll set up like a barracks for that. The rest of this, like pretty standard stuff. I figured organ usage, like their warrior culture, they'll take the organs that they need from folks. Leader, we're going to call the Mandalore. Moral guide is a minister, and then we have 3 specialists. So melee, who will be a power tech, production specialist that we'll call an armorer, and a shooting specialist we call a commando. The drum party, you can have if you have a tribal start, so that is a change that I made to the starting scenario. Is I made us a tribal faction specifically so we could get the drum party. And anytime we do a drum party, there'll be a chance that as a reward we'll get raided. So taunting our enemies is potentially our reward. The social festivals we'll use as events to potentially get us more Mandalorians to join us. So people of our ideology in joining the colony. I want to be kind of careful about that. Like, we're going to have to armor them. And they're also going to require anonymity, right? So we need to be in a good place resource-wise before we're just like inviting folks to join the colony. I think the other thing that we'll be doing as well to kind of like grow our colony is anytime a child shows up in a quest as a joiner, we'll be taking them as foundlings. And then for the most part, unless we're in like super dire straits, I don't think it makes sense for us to like recruit prisoners or anything like that. If we do happen across like super exceptional prisoners, I do have this gladiator duel set up. And so the scenario would be like, okay, we can't just like recruit a prisoner, but if we find 2 like exceptional prisoners and we've decided that we want to recruit them, we'll end up having them do a gladiator duel. The survivor will work on recruiting. The loser, if they survive, will release. We have 2 relics. So this is Crusader Helm and a Crusader Cuirass. They're both made out of Beskar, so we'll find those and display them if we can, and then nothing else really down here. Anyhow, let me put a cut in, and then I will load the starting scenario that I have saved, and I'll walk you through kind of like our initial plans for the base. So we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. We're loaded on the map. We're paused. Okay, you can see that area is not revealed yet. So if we like zoom down here, I have it set to be mined. But planning, oh my gosh, this is like my favorite addition to the more planning tool is they added a toggle down here. So we'll toggle on our plan visibility. I highlighted all the geothermals and what we would potentially do to build around them. So we'll like build some walls, we'll build some doors, and then this white represents, we'll probably do like, what is it? I don't necessarily want it to be walls, security. We'll do like barricades. That way we're not like creating walls that are going to mess up pathing for us or for enemies. They'll be able to like walk around these. But I'll put the barricades over the power lines just so the power lines aren't like sitting there in the open, free to get smashed on. But yeah, this is huge, and this is gonna be years and years and years of work for our colonists. So down here is like the initial base. There is a geothermal right there, and then this will be kind of like the main entrance into the base. Right here will be the hospital, and so these pink dots are going to be hospital beds. We'll have like a little IV drip right here, and then like the little green dots to the side of the beds will be nutrient paste dispensers from that from the nutrient paste expanded mod. This will be the big vitals monitor, and then probably like some storage and production. So hospital. Down here we'll have a couple barracks with single beds. Down here we'll have a barracks with double beds, and then this will be like a small prison area. Like I said, we're not going to have lots of prisoners on hand. It'll probably be a rare thing for us to have them duel and actually have us recruit one. Also down here, this will be like the school area, so like some chairs and desks and blackboards. This will be a nursery, just in case we end up having children in the colony or babies in the colony. To the right here, this will be the kitchen. This will be like extra storage. This will be frozen storage, so potentially food, potentially waste packs. Like I think we're gonna avoid having mechanoids that are battle mechanoids, but we might have like some clean sweepers, some agri-hands, just kind of like helping around the base. And then this will be a dining room. This will be recreation. Over here will be more storage and some crafting rooms. And then up here will be some ritual rooms. So this will be a little, what do we call it? A chapel. So they'll have a place to get married at some point. And then this will be our, the Way of the Mandalore Temple. So I haven't built in a throne room. So if we take a look at the factions, you'll see that instead of a typical royalty empire, we actually have the Imperial Remnant. So that's an additional mod that makes it so that the Galactic Empire from the Outer Rims mod replaces the royalty faction with the Galactic Remnant. So we will do their first quest, whatever, like we're out on a Rimworld just trying to survive, but we'll betray them. And then over here, these are pretty elaborate. We'll have like 2 potential places that we want to like lure enemies towards. This might be like our long-term kill box. This might be like our mid-term kill box, but we'll need to have like some kind of like trap box down here once we open this area up, just to start with. But yeah, base perimeter, some kill boxes, probably like some area for us to be able to like land our ships from SRTS. And up here you might see the starting of a spaceship. So we do have SOS 2 installed, Save Our Ship 2 installed. And so this is just kind of like the outline of some ship that we may build. We'll see if we need to get there. But yeah, I think the objectives for this playthrough, like I said, rescuing foundlings, kind of just like building our own like little Mandalorian home. We do have Faction Manager installed, so potentially we could have multiple colonies. We'll see if we have a need for that. But, their best way to kind of like ensure that this is like a good home for our Mandalorians going forward is we probably want to eliminate the Empire, 2 different factions of them, and then see what kind of peace that we can broker with the locals. We might need to eliminate some other enemies, and then of course just having a big capital ship for us to be able to use as we need, rebuild the fleet. I think kind of like the marking of the end of the game will be when we take on the Imperial Remnant and the Galactic Empire. And until then, my primary goal for the game is just like enjoy the Star Wars content, build like a pretty cool colony, maybe build like a cool ship as well. Anyhow, oh my gosh, I can't believe I took 20 whole minutes for this. Thanks for hanging out if you hung out this long. I'll be posting this video. Oh, well, I'll be posting episode 1 and this video together. So I'll catch you then. Until then, have a good one. Bye.